Guys, let's take a look at this right now. Turns out there's been some descriptions of exotics that we currently have in the game that got updated with the mid-season patch yesterday. So essentially, Destiny 2 has seemingly leaked new exotic armor changes in game, which I'm going to assume is going to be coming next season. Let's take a look at this, guys. All right, so Bungie seems to have released some of the new exotic armor changes early with Festival of the Lost update in Destiny 2. One of the Destiny 2's annual events, Festival of the Lost, has returned this year with a new update released earlier this week. With this event, Bungie has brought back the haunted sectors, this time with legend difficulty, and added brand new spider and beetle themed armor sets, along with a new heavy grenade launcher called a Cosmic. However, it also looks like the developer may have accidentally pushed out some upcoming changes early. Players have noticed updated descriptions for exotic perks on armor pieces like Stompies and Celestial Hawk following a recent update. Although the exotic perk description have been updated, the changes to the exotic armors have not been implemented in the game. Now, this is interesting because if you notice, pretty much every season we have updates to exotics, but the descriptions don't get updated until a season later, right? It's always like normally behind. So I guess Bungie's workaround for this time was to like update the description first, but maybe that not actually be live in game. And then whenever the update rolls out, it will match up with each other. Now, Bungie may have leaked upcoming exotic armor changes to Destiny 2. Here's a list of all the currently known exotic armor pieces with updated description. Thanks to Voter. Stompies, so for hunters, increase sprint speed and slide distance and improve high jump, strafe jump, and triple jump. Take less damage from combatants when airborne. Now, combatants, guys, keep in mind that's PvE or should be PvE. I have seen times or a few occasions where combatants somehow bled over into PvP. Now the question is like how much damage resist are we talking about there? Shards of Galanor, hunter, throwing knife final blows decrease the cooldown of your super. Hits and final blows with blade barrage will return super energy after the super ends. So still the same, but now throwing knife final blows would decrease the cooldown of your super, depending on how much. It actually reminds me of like Doomfang, right? And Doomfang, its melee into super regeneration is a lot. So if it's on that level, could be pretty good, man. And Shards of Galanor actually puts out really good damage. I will say though, Shards of Galanor, if this actually works out really well, it could be good. It could be good. You could see a return to it. I mean, the super regeneration coming back in 50% of your super back would be really nice. And then you have that other 50% with your throwing knife. Now, Mechanics Trick Sleeves, hunter, increase sidearm airborne effectiveness, ready speed, and reload speed. While you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm reloads it and increases its damage. While this effect is active, sidearm final blows reload the weapon and extend the effect's duration. Wow. So you don't have to remain critically wounded in order to get the buffs here from Mechanic Trick Sleeve. Guys, Mechanic Trick Sleeve is actually really good. Let me pull up the damage buff here. Inside of PvE, it's a 100% buff in damage that it grants you. PvP is a 35% buff. I know. I've got everybody sitting there saying, Cross, I would never use a sidearm in PvE. What are you talking about? Listen, you'll be amazed how much you can put out. The problem with Mechanic Trick Sleeve is A, you have to be critically wounded, right? In order to get these benefits, to get that damage buff. And then the other problem is the moment you begin to regenerate any type of health, you lose that. And so you don't get to keep that buff. But while this effect is active, sidearm final blows reload the weapon and extend the effect's duration. That is a huge buff here to Mechanics. It's still not going to be like as ease of use like on the scale of like Lucky Pants. But if you can, find yourself critically wounded and swap over to it, and then depending on how much it extends the effect's duration, and put out. Celestial Nighthawk, hunter, precision final blows reduce the cooldown of your super. Modifies Golden Gun to fire a single high damage shot. Targets eliminated by the shot gives you super energy and explodes. So, okay, precision final blows reduce the cooldown of your super. Could be good, man. Set the steps. Titans, when you're surrounded, you gain increased melee and super damage, as well as improved weapon handling and reload speed. Ophidians. This is Ophidians. Syntheseps just became Ophidians for Titans. Now they took away the launch. You don't have to launch. But dude, I'm okay with that. I'm completely fine with that. We can work around that. You're giving Titans Ophidians? Okay. All right. I got a little ahead of myself. It's when you're surrounded. Son of a bitch. Yeah. No, it's not as good as Ophidians. Ophidians is always active, right? I thought we were getting that, man. That was about to be wild. Yeah, you're getting the lunge distance taken away. And again, this is to combat the issues that Bungie faces with when it comes to melees in the game. And let me just say this, it's all melees. It's not just like melee boosting exotics or melee boosting abilities. Granted, that definitely has an effect. Ophidian's got its lunge range nerfed. Synthecep's it's getting its lunge range nerfed or just outright removed. But the improved handling and reload speed, we'll see. We'll see. Karnstein armlets. Melee and finisher final blows instantly grant cure and provide restoration for a short duration. So right now, if I go to Karnstein, I love it with Glaze, but melee and finisher final blows instantly grant cure and provide restoration for, okay, so it already has that updated. Karnstein right now, isn't it just melee? So that the new addition is finisher final blows instantly grant cure and provide restoration for a short duration, right? So right now, even though the description is what it is in the game, the melee is the only thing that provides that benefit. Is that correct? I got any warlock mains in here? It's just the melee. Perfect. All right, that's fantastic. Again, what this means for my warlocks, you could go on something like Void, and you can rock out. Let's see, what's the fragment here? Here we go. So you got Echo Cessation. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. Defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. You can imagine running there with like Karnstein. You instantly grant yourself cure and restoration with that finish. You can combine it with something like Cessation and other fragments, of course. You can see the synergy at play there. I still like Fellwinter most with Echo Cessation. It's a fantastic build. All right, but continuing here. Interestingly, Bungie has already announced new changes to Titan Synthecep's armor in previous Twitch blog posts, which is slated to be released in Season 23. Per Bungie's blog post, Synthecep's will be getting an improved weapon and handling and reload speed when you're surrounded, which aligns with the updated perk description added in this week in game. We can see that armor perks were updated this week thanks to LightGG, which tracks in-game data from Bungie's API. And since these were pushed out with the latest update in Destiny 2, players can see them in-game as well. You can check out the screenshots of the updated exotic armor pieces below. At this moment, it is unclear whether or not the changes will be implemented in the game, so we suggest taking everything with a grain of salt. Many fans speculate that they will be released during Season 23, launching on November the 28th, 2023. All right, big shout out to these guys for this article right here, and also for you guys picking up on it. This is all going to probably launch, though, next season. This seems about right with all the different exotic changes. But yeah, these look good. Some of them, you know, not so much. But I'm most excited about probably Mechanier's Trick Sleeves. I think that's the one that's the most exciting. That may actually make me load out Hunter at the beginning of next season. I think that's going to be really, really solid.
A few moments later.
So from the Destiny 2 team account, some exotic armor changes coming in Season 23 were shown earlier than anticipated. We wanted to take a moment to clarify a few things. What has been shown is not the full scope of exotic armor tuning coming next season. The unintended preview is a small part of a larger tweaks on the way for all classes that we're excited to share soon. While the descriptions of some of the exotic armor were updated, they will still function as they did with the 7.2.5 update until Season 23 begins. The exception to what will function as they did prior to this update is the changes we made to Hamkar's Spine and Enteiling Wards, which were intended for this release. All right, that was the only thing I was actually concerned about when we were looking at it. I was like, I'm excited about Mechanier's Trick Sleeves, but I felt like the scope of exotic changes were smaller. So that's good that this is not everything.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.